Hey, welcome back to the Daily Sip at 3:30. We're going to, when you're younger, you have this vision of what a wagon is. We're going to talk about a wagon today. We're down at the two museums. Katie's with me. Katie, tell me about this. Yes. This is a Lindsey wagon.
This is a Lindsey wagon.
That is the extent of my knowledge of it. I knew what the name of it was. And tell me about it.
So it was invented by John Lindsey in 1899, and I actually have the patent here all printed off. And so this is what it would look like. And so John Lindsey and his family were loggers, and they had a lumber mill. But the issue that they had is that the ways that they got logs to the mill didn't work as well in the soggy wilderness that we have still here in Mississippi. All of the logs would either get stuck or the wagons would sink down. So they needed a different type of wagon in order to bring the logs to the lumber mills. And so he invented this Lindsey wagon. And so their mill originally was in Sandersville, if I'm remembering correctly, but they opened their own Lindsey wagon manufacturer in Laurel.
Oh, okay.
And so they operated this manufacturer. They actually made it fully in-house, so they not only had the wood that is from their mill, but as well as they had their own foundry where they made the iron work. For example, this one has iron rims that was added. That was a later addition to the patent. And so, yeah, it made logging much easier in these soggy conditions. It was actually used during World War I to bring lumber to make the bunkers for the soldiers, and so they got a commendation from the U.S. government for that. And then they had an offshoot in Brazil as well, because they had similar conditions of soggy conditions and needing to do.
They had mud in Brazil also.
Lots of mud in Brazil, exactly. And this company actually stayed in business until 1950 when the president of the company died. And then that, because of the increase of mechanisms and gas-powered cars.
Well, yeah, I guess by that time they had tractors and bulldozers and the things that have the tracked wheels on them and stuff like that.
You could deal with that.
But this was a major innovation, though, because before then it was just like, you put the mule out there and they're dragging a and in essence, weren't they?
They're dragging the log or you're rolling the log. And again, in soggy conditions, that's not going to work as well. And these went all over the country. This is actually from a historical society in Indiana who had it in their collection and like, do you guys want it? We're like, yes, please. But it is going to go on our Mississippi Made exhibit that is opening next spring in March. But I actually, and why I'm wearing all of my lab wear today is I'm fulfilling my primary goal today as a art conservator. And so this wagon did have a lot of condition issues that I'm trying to treat so that it's stable for when it goes on display.
Katie, tell me a little bit about logging in Mississippi in the early days before statehood even, but particularly before the Civil War.
Well, logging has been a big industry throughout the country. They would come here for the nice straight logs. Europe had been heavily forested at that point, and so they needed the lumber for all of the building, especially the shipping. So they found places that you could grow wood, nice untapped wood that the Native Americans didn't log because they could get what they needed with not having to chop down entire trees, where the Europeans could not.
Oh, we had those tall, straight, longleaf pine, native, old-growth longleaf pines down in the south part of the state.
Exactly, which would be good for masts and spars and things like that on the ships.
So the biggest problem is you get them on the ground, you just had to get them to the sawmill then.
Exactly. You get them to somewhere you can deal with them easily, and so that's what they were trying to do.
How about the lumber industry in Mississippi today? It's still important, isn't it?
It is still important. Yes, we still have a lot of lumbering here. You get stuck behind those trucks with all of the pine trees on them, which is a little concerning. You're like, ah. And we do have a big paper industry here. That's mainly what the timber in Mississippi is used for, is for paper making. And so we do have some paper mills that are in the Delta in particular that I can think of.
I guess the greatest advantage today of the logging industry in Mississippi is when you do get stuck behind something, it's something with the motor on it. It's not, at least it's not a Lindsey wagon.
It's not going slowly, no. Yeah.
We're going to take a break. We're coming right back. You're watching the Daily Sip at 3:30.